Diverse minds, stronger solutions. How diversity, diverse teams drive progress. Welcome to this session. I know it's late and I know it's just been out from other sessions, but we really are appreciating your attendance. And today we are having, because we also know that we're having a late session, we have 6 panelists, but they only in quote-unquote, present pitch presentations. So they highlight their projects, their outcomes, and you can ask them questions throughout. And also to have more information, we've displayed those handouts where you get more information, and especially very important, their contact details are given in there. My name is Sabine Siebler. I will be guiding you through this session for the next 90 minutes. And I'll also want to point out that there is a white card also on your seat. And we would invite you at the end of the session to write one activity, one aspect, one idea that you took from these presentations that you take with you to your utilities and to your organizations. Diversity is not just ethics. It's an integral part of effectiveness. We've heard that over and over again, but diversity is not just gender. Diversity is also gender, but it's also youth and other aspects that we want to also talk today about it. And also about the benefit that it brings to all of your teams and work and services. And to start us off today in our session, we are very honored to have Dr. Ariane Hildebrand with us. She is the Director General, I had to write it down because it's a long title, the Director General of the Department for Global Health, Equality of Opportunity, Digital Technologies and Food Security at the Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development. So she's very busy, and that's even more, we're very honored to have you here with us to start us off with our session. Dr. Ariane Hildebrand, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's a great pleasure to join you today for this very promising and inspiring session. Let me start by thanking German Water Partnership and the African Water and Sanitation Association for organizing this dialogue. You're putting a spotlight on what is maybe one of the most underestimated drivers of progress in the water sector, diversity. When we talk about achieving the SDG, clean water and sanitation for all, we often focus on technologies, financing and infrastructure. But the truth is, SDG 6 is more than that. It is about people, children who drink clean water, dignified sanitation for vulnerable communities, and the resilience we build when diverse minds collaborate. Diversity is not only about gender, it's about creating spaces where different backgrounds, ages, experiences, and identities can contribute. Diversity is not a buzzword, it is a powerful driver of progress. Diverse teams unlock a richer set of ideas, a broader range of solutions. They make our sector stronger, more innovative, and more resilient. For the German Federal Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, BMZ, diversity and inclusion are a backbone of sustainable development. They are a key to achieve the 2030 agenda. And moreover, they help us adhere to a basic principle of our work, and this is leave no one behind. Our cooperation is built on the conviction that every perspective matters, that we can only make progress on the global water crisis if we ensure that everyone is part of the solution. Consider how water systems succeed. Require know-how, public health insight, community engagement. Moreover, gender-inclusive planning, financial stewardship, and local knowledge are needed. Each perspective matters. Come in. More diversity outside. Come in. Come and sit down. This is about diversity. Thank you. Women, youth, indigenous communities, scientists, policymakers, entrepreneurs, together they co-create solutions. Solutions that are resilient, scalable, and locally appropriate. This is how we move from pilot projects to systemic change. This is also reflected in our work with partners. Through the German-African Partnership for Water and Sanitation, we are helping to strengthen peer learning and capacity development. We are bringing together water operators, utilities, and professionals from Germany and across Africa. And partnerships like this remind us that innovation doesn't only come from laboratories and boardrooms. It often comes from collaboration, empathy, and listening to voices that were not heard before. Today's session brings together examples that show what this looks like in practice. I'm very much looking forward to the pitches. Gender transformative investment approaches in Africa, mentoring, youth engagement, and inclusive community initiatives are among these examples. Each of these stories proves that diversity is not a nice to have, it is a core ingredient of success. I encourage all of you to share openly, to challenge each other, and to bring a personal perspective to the discussion. Let us use this session to connect, learn, and to remind ourselves that diversity and inclusion are not only the right thing to do, they are a smart thing to do. Thank you, wish you an inspiring discussion, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hildebrand, for your wise words, and I hope we can all build on this in this session right now. With this, I would like to invite our panelists to come to the stage. First, it's Catherine Parr from England. She is from the Community of Women in Water and has been working on global water policy for over a decade. She began the Community of Women in Water as a network in January 2019. She strongly believes that diverse perspectives are what we need to create the innovative solutions to meet our sector's challenges. Welcome, Catherine. Secondly, Letitia Akun from the African Water and Sanitation Association. She is joining us here today from the Ivory Coast. Letitia is passionate about giving women a voice in decision-making and to highlight the impact of women and their contribution. She has over 25 years of experience in the water sector, and since 3 years, she is involved in this project that she's going to present. Third, we have somebody from Germany, Ulrike Gay. She is, since 2017, she has been working in the water sector education at the School of Technology and Architecture in Heidelberg. In this role, she collaborates closely with GWA, the German Association for Water, Waste and Wastewater, on initiatives related to educate for children, digitalization, and female empowerment. For several years, she has also been mentoring young female professionals, students, and engineers, a passion that drives her to empower women both nationally and internationally. Now we have a far-traveled panelist. It's Yolanda Gomez from the Philippines. She will be presenting a project in India. Yolanda is a development planner with more than 10 years experience as a WOP facilitator. She has worked in the environment, natural resources, and water sector in the Philippines for more than 15 years prior to being a facilitator. She holds a bachelor's and a master's degree in forestry, as well as a master's in GIS. Now we have a little bit of diversity. We have the man in our group for the panel, also traveled from far, from Argentina. We're welcoming Daniel Schwerzhoff from the cooperative 16 de octubre, Co-op 16. Daniel is a chemical engineer with 15 years of experience in process optimization and water resource management. He's a supervisor at the wastewater treatment plant at the Co-op 16, where he is committed to driving innovation through nature-based solutions and inter-institutional cooperation. Welcome, Daniel. And last but not least, we have South Africa in the house. Patricia, which is called Pinky Kunene. We're very happy also to have you here from the eThekwini Water Municipality. Has over 20 years of experience and has been with the eThekwini Water Municipality for over a decade. She began her journey in human resources. 2 years ago, she transitioned to the Water and Sanitation Unit, where she now leads research and innovation projects focused on transforming service delivery. Her active involvement in the Water Operators Partnerships project reflects her commitment to collaboration and knowledge exchange. She's passionate about advancing water and sanitation technologies. Pinky is dedicated to uplifting underserved communities through sustainable, inclusive solutions. She exemplifies transformation and resilience in the public service. So welcome all. I think for our panelists, first of all, before they start working, I think they deserve an applause. Also for traveling far. And I would like to know, now that you've seen we have quite an international panel, I would like to see how international our audience is. Please, can everybody stand up who is from the African continent? That's clearly the majority. Welcome. Do we have some countries? Cameroon? Yes. Uganda, welcome. Senegal and Cameroon. Who we have? South Africa, yes. Yes, South Africa is in the house, yes. Mali? And Kenya? Yeah. Okay. Welcome to you all. We have Latin America. You can also stand up. I mean, you know, the numbers are yes. From Argentina, yes. Welcome. Anybody from Asia? Yes. Welcome. Yes, yes. Which country? Indonesia. Welcome. We're very happy to have you here. And then, of course, we have, I guess, a couple of Europeans, because I see white faces as well. Is everybody from Germany or also from other countries? Oh, the Netherlands. Welcome, welcome. Yes? I'm from France. Okay, thank you. Oh, sorry. Yes, yes. Welcome also to you. Okay, with this, I would like, before we start with the panels, I would like to also warm you up on the topic of diversity. And think about it and maybe also discuss it with your next seat neighbor. What does diversity mean to you in your work context? Because it means something else for a lot of people. I give you a minute to discuss it. Think about it. What is it? Do you have examples? What does it mean? Is diversity just gender? Is it youth? Is it other jobs? How do you think out of the box? You can't talk now. Okay, I think you have given it some thought, and with this, I would ask for your attention again. And also in the front row. I think it's about time that we hear from the project and from our panelists. And the first is Catherine from the Community of Women in Water. The floor is yours. We have 5 minutes per person.
Okay. So hello. So great to see all of you here. I know it's been an exciting but long first day. And I can tell that you're excited to be in an interactive session from how hard it was to pull you away from the questions. So that's great. My name is Catherine Farr from the Community of Women in Water. It's my pleasure to be here today. And I have the possibly easy, possibly hard task of trying to add on to what Dr. Hildebrand said and give you an overview of the problem and sort of set it up to hear from the case studies and the solutions from the rest of the panel. So I will just say 2 big statistics, or maybe 3 are on the slide. So 67%, so 2/3 of countries lack 4/5, 75% of the professionals that they need to perform essential functions delivering wash services. And my question to you is, who knew the statistic before they walked in the room? Yes, of course you did, Maren. But okay, so we go, wow, there's a real gap in the workforce needed for the wash services. But surely for water resources, it's better, right? No. 40% of countries have limited capacity to balance competing water uses. So this is water resources. This is thinking about not just wash, but water for agriculture, water for industry, and water for households, right? All the different and cope with increasing pressures. And what are those increasing pressures? We've already heard about them today. They're climate change, they're moving populations, they're increasing populations, they're all of that uncertainty. So 40% of countries also don't have that. Now, these are from different studies, so what I don't have is a beautiful Venn diagram to show you how many countries are missing both. But what we know is that we have a deep and significant problem of needing a lot more professionals to come into the water sector. So we know that we need everyone. We should all be spending a significant portion of our time trying to convince everyone of all ages, of all backgrounds, of all disciplines to come in and work on what is obviously the most exciting thing that they could ever do, which is water and wash and sanitation, right? What could be more fundamental to life than this, right? But we have a big gap. And when we look at, okay, we're going to try to pull people in, that's great. We need a lot of diversity. We need different ages, different backgrounds, different experiences. We cannot forget that 80% of the jobs in this sector are currently held by men. So when we look at diversity, if I was in a background and we were talking about healthcare, we know that healthcare is largely female dominated, and at least in certain subsects, so we might be talking about bringing more men into this sector. But for water, one of the first things we actually need to do is we need to think about how to bring more women in. And what does that look like? Because clearly we haven't been successful at it to date, so some things are going to need to change, because we can't afford to not have women coming into this sector, because we can't afford to have anyone not coming into this sector and not being interested and not filling these massive gaps that you're seeing both in water resources and all wash services and systems. And so as Sabina said, I founded the Community of Women in Water back in 2019, and we provide support to women professionals working on all water-related issues globally to help them have meaningful connections and knowledge sharing as a way to build their support, to retain them in the sector, to help them advance in the sector, to help more innovative solutions come out of the sector. And we are part of the Stronger Together Coalition. So that is a coalition, Letitia will say something in a minute, but we're a coalition of 8 women's networks and several important organizational allies. Of those networks, 4 of us are... Oh, halftime, okay. I was like, it can't be 5 minutes yet. Half of us are global and half of us are regional. So we all have a slightly different focus and different ways of trying to support women, but we all come together with our organizational allies for 3 goals. We want to empower women, so support women who are in the sector. We want to bring in more women. We want to make it more enticing for women to stay in the sector. We want to foster collaboration on those who also want to do this work. That's why we're a coalition and not working separately. We want to avoid duplication, make a real difference. And then we want to, of course, advocate for gender equality. And I just want to say something that doesn't always get said, which is it's gender equality because it is better for everyone. So if you look at some of the research, what you will find is that more flexible work policies, the kind of policies that tend to be advocated for women, benefit all employees. So there is a study that was done by the Water Management Institute, Professional Management Institute, and they found in construction, okay, so very male dominated. And in COVID, they came up with, the women sort of said, look, the schools have closed, this is happening, we have to have more flexible work policies. And it was the men who came back and said, this is amazing. I'm able to spend time with my children. I'm able to be part of my family because I have the option now to be flexible. And so everyone that was working at that company benefited from the policies that had originally been created to support female colleagues. And I think that that's something we don't say enough when we work on this. Yes, these are policies to bring women into the sector, but what they end up doing is creating a more balanced work life for all employees and giving everyone these opportunities. And that will create an opportunity for all different kinds of diversity. And so before I get stopped, my last thing I'm going to say is a quick plug to please, on Wednesday, come to the German booth at 10:30 for the coffee break, because we will be having a chat about the Stronger Together Coalition and talking about how anyone can get involved through the Friends of Stronger Together. And now I will stop.
Thank you, Catherine. Okay, so that was the setting the stage of the challenges that are still ahead of us. Next is Letitia, please.
Because I can't see.
Oh, okay. Do you want to go here?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, fire.
Yeah. Yes. So thank you. I've already been introduced. So I'm with the African Water and Sanitation Association, based in Cote d'Ivoire, and we are a membership association of organizations in the water and sanitation sector, including institutions, research, private sector, and others. For now, I'm going to focus on only our gender program strategy that we want to roll out, and because we want to ensure diversity and inclusivity within the water sector, especially amongst our members, the utilities, where we have a lot of male-dominated members. She's already given the statistics, and it's not different when we did our research among African utilities. We also had a similar feedback where we had 23% of the women being in the sector and only 17% being in senior positions. So we came up with we did a gender analysis and came up with a gender strategy. So we have two major strategies that we are using to make sure we increase women within the sector, and also invite women to be attracted to the sector, and also to ensure that women are promoted and go into leadership position. Apart from the problem of having low percentage, even when it comes to decision making, women are almost not found there. When it comes to being on the board or being MDs or CEOs. Yeah, so our strategy is first strengthening the institutions, making sure that gender is mainstreamed in every utility. And the second is also forming women professional networks within the utilities, where women can have a common ground, where they can discuss issues pertaining to women, what are their challenges, and how many people have been able to go through hit the ceiling, and how they can bring on board other women so that they learn from them. So far, we have 18 women professional networks created within Africa. So they are in Uganda, Kenya, Ghana, Senegal, and all over. And we are hoping to reach out to all utilities within Africa. And we've also offered 144 scholarships to women. And it's all to help build skills and build also leadership. So women doing, encouraging women in research. So a lot of women doing their masters, we give them some grants to support them in their research. And also, we also support the women networks in their projects. So some of them are into either water sanitation related or leadership training. And so far we have trained over 200 women in leadership. And thus we hope that there will be a skill down at the utility level. So what we do is just at the headquarters, and then we train the women presidents and their assistants. And then, okay, so the way forward, we are going to establish the governance structure where we'll have a regional women network. Presently, we have nationals, but we want to have one Pan-African women network. And then we are also going to train women, gender committees. We have formed gender committees in about 10 utilities. So we are going to train them in gender mainstreaming so that the community utilities will see the need to incorporate gender in all their programs, from identifying projects, implementing, and also even doing monitoring of their programs, the gender impacts of their programs. So am I done? Do I have? Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, so if you need more information about our networks and how we are mainstreaming gender, I'm available. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Letitia. So it's also about the goals are set clearly, and now we are coming to Uli to also show us, like, how do you monitor now the progress? So Uli, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So coming back from Africa to Germany here at the DWA, maybe can you change the slide?
Yes,
just
I can.
that I also know the complete abbreviation for the DWA, but now you can read it. No, also here we have one committee in the DWA working for the women in the water and waste management. It's quite similar of what was just shown there. And here, as we just spoke about, we just focus on two main points about monitoring and mentoring. Let me start with mentoring, because that is what I'm doing myself, and so I can much more talk about that. It was starting, I think, when I was some years ago, somewhere at a conference, and then they approached me, you're here even that you have 3 kids, how do you do it? And it was really not about the content, what I was speaking about, but about managing this topic, and they were really glad that I was doing that. And before I was, let's say, not loving this gender stuff. I'm an engineer, I love to work with males, but then I saw, okay, I also want that the females who are there are empowered. And then I thought, okay, you can go to be a mentor for young engineers. And so it started, but I was never mentoring anyone because of the, let's say, kids I have. It was all the time other topics. And now I say I love it to be a mentor, and I'm still waiting for mentoring a woman because of the, let's say, having both kids and career. Now I'm mentoring in this DWR one student from Iran who want to get into the water sector. And there, let's say, also you see here in the DWR mentoring program, as I just were talking about the females, it's not just about female empowerment, but it's a big offer for, let's say, females that you can talk with another person. It might be just that there are, at the water utilities, you have not the best access to the restrooms. There are no showers for, let's say, where are they? I'm working at university, but I also have to go in the men's restrooms if I want to have a shower, right? So even, let's say, and so just small aspects where it might be good to talk with someone who might be a bit older than you. How could you manage that? And that is, let's say, for women a topic. It's for young professionals that are, let's say, now it was international students who said, oh, I've never seen company from inside. And so I took him with me when we are doing excursion, that he has the contact, that he sees someone. And that was, let's say, the mentoring is, let's say, as a, let's say, partnership organization. You have the CV and the, let's say, opportunities. What does the young professional wants to see? What is the mentoring can give? And then it fits together. It could be really from career perspective, but it could also be, let's say, from more social acceptance. And that, let's say, for a young professional woman, but also for, let's say, a mother who was at home for 10 years and want to restart, from someone who was in construction but wants always to go into the water sector. So a lot of different possibilities. And then next to that, there's, let's say, coming back to the females, we have these 4 topics: increase visibility of professional women. That's always a point. We also had done this coming to the survey. You all speak about role models. That's why we also have here a lot of role models next to me, also to show, okay, females are in the water sector. Of course, also in this monitoring, still there's the topic of discrimination. So we just had done one monitoring survey in 2024, so a very current one with more than 500 participants, where, let's say, 2/3 have been women. And still there's this part which, let's say, we need still to address. That's not everything's fine. Luckily, more than 80% are satisfied with their job. So also, let's say, they're good news. And that is also what we just talked about, marketing. When you know what is good, you can also use that for more people to get into the water sector. And next to that, we have encouraging women, what we just heard about, more women in the industry. Next to both of that, you learn by mentoring to get the data, where's the lag, where you can do more, what is good, where are the people satisfied to use that to get the people. Then we have, as you see in the picture, we have these networking events that the females talk with other females, what you also just mentioned. So also, let's say, just within Germany, but also, let's say, my international students were also quite, when they saw the DWA last year at the IFAD, wow, so many females are organized at one event, so they're really also willing to do more, and that's, of course, also in all the other countries around. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Uli. Now we're moving from Germany to India, and Yolanda is going to give us a specific example from a sanitation WOP in India. Yolanda, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I'm from Waterlinks, and Waterlinks is an NGO based in the Philippines, and our core business is facilitating water operators partnership to help improve operational efficiency of utilities. So today I'm sharing with you one of our most recently completed sanitation operator partnership, which is funded under the EU Phase 1, where we have the Italians represented by SMAT of Turin, HydroAid, and Politecnico de Torino as the mentor, mentoring OWSSB or Odisha Water Supply and Sanitation Board, with Waterlinks as the facilitator. So if you can see on the upper side, so that's all the key actors. And I'm sharing with you the lessons from the SWOP, which is that women as game changer in wastewater management. Maybe this is the first time for you to hear that. As a facilitator myself in the last 10 years, this is also my first experience of working in the sanitation and working with women, which are members of what they call the self-help group, which is about 7 to 8 women. They are ordinary women, actually, in the community. And they are given the responsibility for the operation and maintenance of their fecal sludge treatment plant. And this experience of ours highlighted the role of the GWOPA SWOP and how it was able to help build and upskill the individual capacities of the members of the self-help group in Jatni in India. While in the pilot project in India, I have worked only with an all women. Let me just tell you that in the rest of the treatment plants in Odisha, there are transgenders. So this is really, I think, a very good example of diversity, recognizing the role not only of the women but also of the transgenders. And I've seen the transgenders, I've met them. They were so excited to see the Italians. Yeah, they were really excited when we went there for the face-to-face training, and through the Water Operators Partnership, we help build and improve their capacities in the management and operation of the treatment plants. I have a poster also, so you can view more details, some outside.
You still have more time. It's only half.
No, it's okay. I'm selling that one.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. I think also the aspect of transgender is in times like these very important, where things like that are under massive attack in other countries, and so I'm very happy to hear about this, and it's a positive effect. Now we come to our diversity and our panel. We have Daniel. The floor is yours.
So I can go any way. I can exceed my 5 minutes, or I can run out of time. But well, it's story time for me. I want to say that 5 years ago, we had a terrible drought in Esquel. We didn't have any water, snow in the mountains. And that my boss, the chief of the water sector, said that a terrible possible truth that we might not be able to supply water the next summer. And we thought for a second. We had all the roadmap of the technical issues, our projects. We knew we had to increase metering in the local in all the houses. We knew we had to search for alternatives for water sources. We already had a project for that, and a lot of different actions. We had our spots on radio and TV saying we have to take care of our water. We don't have to waste it. But at that point, we knew it wasn't enough. And we came with this idea that the future of the water is not only a technical challenge, but it's also a community challenge. It requires community engagement and know-how and to see how we could go forward. And from this point, a colleague of mine that works in HR, of all places, Solange Ferrada, she came up to me, and I came with this plan to how to get to this community engagement. And after a lot of thinking and planning, our first year came out with this plan, which is a year-round plan, with visits to the water treatment plant, to the wastewater treatment plant, incentives to know where the water from our cities comes from. It comes from a water basin in a stream, and how all the community could take care of that, because it's a very nice place. It has the snowy mountains. We go ski, we go hiking, but we also have to take care of that, because the forests that are there are very important to fill up the basin again. So we take a lot of people year-round there, and we take a lot of trees, we plant them there. Another, when we visit the wastewater treatment plant, we show them everything that's okay, that is not much, and we also emphasize everything that is wrong, and how we need to fix these problems. For instance, when we have a period of rain, a lot of that water goes through the sewage system, and it collapses the plant. So the community has to know this and has to seek solutions in their homes, if they're connected or not. And how did we get there? We don't have a lot of funds. We didn't have a budget for this. I almost say we still don't have one. But it was a lot of networking. We grabbed our phones. We went to everybody that had something to do with water in our community, and started knocking doors, ringing their phones. And we got to a lot of people. From there, we have who makes this possible in the presentation, and we have the both municipalities. We have also the university community, the scientific community, the schools. Some teachers of some schools are key supporters because they want the kids that are in their class to know what's happening with water in the communities. And this year, I'm happy to say that we got the official backing of the provincial legislature, it would be the parliament from Chubut. They officially said it's a very important thing that we're doing for the community. And halftime. Oh, I'm good. I think I'm going to be okay. And also, the Ministry of Education from Chubut also backed us up with all our programs. So now it's in the program of education of Chubut, all our program of Expo Agua and different events. Expo Agua is our key event. We have it next week. Everybody's invited to go. It's in Chubut, Esquel, and it's an event that is expressed here in the picture. What do we do there? We try to get to all the community, from this kindergarten kids to to adults going by primary school and secondary school, universities. Everybody's invited. It's an open event. Everybody could go participate. The 2,000 students that it states there is the ones that participate actively in some workshops that we have there. We have workshops of recycling, how to make compost in your house, how to correctly install drought-resistant plants so we don't have to waste so much water in our gardens. And from this, we had a lot of, in the years, we started to notice that the community started to get more engaged. Now the municipality of Esquel has a big program on planting drought-resistant green areas in parks. And not only everybody wants to see the green grass and the lovely trees, and it's lovely, but it's not sustainable. So with this action, we bring the whole community to get to know all this. And just to try to round it up, because I might be getting out of time, we strongly support that in these activities, we challenge everybody to be a part of the solution. The community can be a part of it. And also the young ones. We don't know what they're going to be when they get older, if they're going to be a civil engineer, or they're going to be an architect, or what part of the world they're going to contribute. But if they have in their minds that the water is maybe a problem that they're going to face in the future, the water scarcity, they will do that profession, whatever it is, with that in mind. And we also don't know where this spark of the solution will come from. It can be from anybody. So if they have the problem in mind and they think about it, the day of tomorrow, we might have a solution in them. And finally, our infrastructure, going back to the technical part, our infrastructure in the society is only as strong as the community that backs it up will let it be. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And now, okay. Last but not least, we go back to Africa. Now it's from the water municipality from Etequini, South Africa. Pinky, it's yours.
Thank you. With my busy slide, I hope I'm gonna be able to pick on the key messages that I would like to send across this room. I've been introduced. Good afternoon, everyone. What the key message that I would like to bring this room is, in South Africa, all organizations legislated. They are guided by legislation in terms of various acts that caters for diversity and inclusion. So we are forced to adhere and to comply with diversity and inclusion. By forced, I mean at a national government level, they will monitor and evaluate compliance. So for us to make sure that we embed diversity and inclusion within our strategy and within our organization, we have to come up with policies that are underpinned in each and every act that is provided. Just to give a few examples without going through each and every line there, when it comes to the whole life cycle of an employee within the organization, right from recruitment right up to when they go for retirement or when they leave the organization, we have each and every policy that has to adhere with that. For instance, in recruitment and selection, there are targets that are set up front for us to adhere to when we do our recruitment in terms of balancing a gender. It's not about taking care of women or females only, but we also have to take care of our males, and we have to take care of people living with disabilities. So in terms of adhering to that, we have to align with targets at that particular time when we do recruitment, depending on levels, right, from lower level right up to upper levels. And in terms of payment as well, we don't have something like a gender gap, pay, because salaries are being negotiated and everyone is paid the same salary for a work of equal value, depending on when you join the organization, obviously, and as long as you meet inherent requirements of the job. Moving to training and development, we are guided by the policy and the Act, Skills Development Act that aligns to that. We have upfront have to set up the work skills plan and submit it to the department as the commitment to say, at Tegwini, we are committing to providing this training to our employees equally across all levels, and we have to account for that. Once a year we report to the Department of Labor on training and skills that we provided to our employees equally. Moving to employee engagement and stakeholder engagement, in whatever that we do, there are unions that are a strong force that represents employees. So we have to engage with them, we have to negotiate with them before we make any a decision in terms of applying discipline as well or correcting behavior. We are guided by a Labor Relations Act and the policy to make sure that employees have rights to be heard, rights to be represented, and in terms of the decision making, we have to make sure that a person who's listening to a case is neutral and can make a fair decision. So having said that, and it goes beyond us having to adhere to policies. There are various projects that run within water and sanitation where we have to apply diversity in terms of skills, in terms of making sure that in each project we have diverse skills where we combine young and old employees with institutional knowledge, as well as the youngsters who would come with innovative, ideas and minds to make sure that to make sure that we improve efficiencies and share diverse knowledges. We also involve external stakeholders who would come with expertise to assist beef up those projects that we do. So having said that, I would say key things: we are being monitored and evaluated, and by treating employees fairly and equally, we have happy employees who understand our vision and our goal, who contribute to a high performance, which then yield results for our service delivery. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So this was a quick run through a lot of projects all over the world. But of course, with 6 panelists, we had to do it this way. But do you have any questions to our panelists? if not, I would start with one for Catherine. Because we've heard now also that obviously we have to highlight the work of women. I think it's the 21st century. We think we should know that women can do an equal good job. But what do you think are the barriers in women's participation in decision making in the sector?
Okay, so how long do I have?
You can answer as long as you want,
Well,
as long
okay,
as
no,
I stop you.
I want to make sure we get to other questions. So I'll highlight a couple of things. One of the things that I think is really important is that we talk a lot about policies, and policies are great, okay? I work on global water policy, that's my background, so obviously I love policy, but it's not enough. And a lot of times we think, oh, we've put this policy in place, we've put this flexible working, we've said that we're going to allow for not just maternity leave, but parental leave for both parents, and we can make this all fair and equal because we've put these policies on board. But then we haven't done the steps to help those inside the organization support each other in that diversity. And so that's anything from kind of thinking about what the leadership traits really are. So research shows that women, and these, okay, broad stereotypes, everyone, okay? Please bear with me here, okay? Research shows that sort of women tend to be expected, both socially and in leadership, to do a lot more mentoring and a lot more support of their team. And I'm seeing nods on the panel because we've all been through this, right? You're supporting a team and you're the woman supporting the team, and that you're expected to kind of do a lot more to be, how are you doing? Oh, you're having a bad day. Oh, let's sit and talk about it. And women do this naturally because we've been socialized to do it. And also, like, I like doing it, okay? I really like mentoring. So I really would rather have this one-on-one conversations than a lot of other of the admin that's on my list at work. But anyway, that is not something that tends to be on your evaluation sheet when you go up for promotion. They don't tend to look at sort of what we might call the feminine leadership traits as being something that's on that checklist of what you need. And yet, whether you are a male or a female manager, as Pinky just finished saying, providing that kind of support and that network that makes employees feel valued is how they stay, it's how they stay motivated, and it's how you get better results as a company, right? So this isn't just about you, but we often don't capture that in evaluations and when we look at promoting. If you don't promote the women because you're looking for them to be masculine, are these masculine traits, which, by the way, I've had several male managers who are much more feminine in how they lead, right? So this is why I'm saying it's not perfect. If we don't value those and we don't put them in there, women aren't going to get promoted. If they're not getting promoted, they're not sitting at the table. If they're not sitting at the table, they can't help with the decision making, right? So there's a lot about this. And so if you're in a position to support this, you might have this moment of, oh my goodness, how could I possibly do this? Because I don't know, I didn't take a gender studies course, I didn't take a course on racial diversity, I didn't take a course on empowering disability. I don't know how to support this person, and I don't want to offend them, so I won't say anything. And there's some really good literature out there that says, no, you need to look at the person as themselves. So don't hold back. If you want to give, constructive is the key word here, constructive criticism, so that the person can grow and work with them and say, okay, you have this weakness, we need to see this grow. If you don't allow the diverse team members in your group to grow, they can't grow to be leaders. And then the other thing I would say, we had an event just 2 weeks ago, our annual event for the Community of Women in Water, and one of our panelists was amazing. And she's a manager, and she said, at the end of the day, or after a big meeting, I ask myself, who did I spend time with? Who did I listen to? Who did I ask the follow-up question to? Did I equally ask the different members of the group? Did I listen to everyone the same? And you don't need any training for that. You just need to put some time in for self-reflection and to check and see, am I giving the space to hear all of the team? Am I making space for all of those diverse voices? Or do I just have that one person who reminds me of my younger self in whatever capacity it is? Maybe you went to the same school. Maybe, I don't know, they have a smile like a family member of yours, right? Like it can be, maybe they're from your country. Like it can be a lot of different things, and you kind of gravitate to that person almost subconsciously, right? That's why we call it unconscious bias. So I think they're just some small things that make a really big difference. And I feel like I'm very much over time.
No. I'm actually, because obviously, I think in that sounds really good, but so would you say, because at some point you have to break the cycle.
Yeah.
So, and there's a discussion in Germany, or an ongoing discussion about having a quota.
Yeah.
Is that something you would say could change it? And then if so, would that even be possible in other contexts, in other countries, a quota to change such aspects?
So
What-
I think in one of the other sessions they were highlighting that Kenya does have a quota. So some places have used
Rwanda has,
quotas.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's great. And I would say quotas are a step. But just like with the policies, that's not done and dusted now.
Yeah.
Oh, we've got the quota. That's it. It's fine. They're in
Yeah.
the room, right? So there's been a lot of research about, yes, they're in the room. Are these different diverse groups, again, whatever type of diversity you're talking about, once they're in the room, can they actually feel empowered to speak? Or, we see a lot of, if it's one person who is the token or the representative, they've often got there by learning to think just like others, or only to mention the things that will come up. Well, then you don't have diversity of thought at that point.
Yeah.
So you've got to create that space. And that's what I'm saying is, whatever policies, whatever quota, that's great. It's a good first step, but it's not enough
It's a process.
without the sort of the intangible human, each of us taking on the mantle of doing our best to try. And we'll fail. That's fine. Just fail fast and keep failing and keep trying and keep going. Don't give up the first time it looks hard or scary.
Thank you very much. Any other questions from the audience? Yes?
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you can hear my voice.
Yes.
My question is for you, Louis. Did I say your name right? Yes. Concerning mentorship, I would like to find out what is the eligibility criteria for a young engineer to be part of your mentorship program, and the duration of the program. I would also like to find out the structure of the actual program.
So normally, everyone can be part of it. So you do not need to be, let's say, very good, or you just need to want it, right? And normally this program is for 1 year, and it's quite structured. So you have a start, you have a first meeting, and then you set your goals. So that normally you start the mentorship, that you have your own personal goal, which you also communicate with your mentor to apply, okay, what do you want to achieve for that? Do you want to have a future plan, or be really knowing what you want? Do you want to have, let's say, a next step in your career? So to really formulate your objective for that. So you have a first initial meeting. And then you also plan, normally a bit structured, how often do you meet, right? There, let's say about your timing. Are you able to meet in person? Are you, let's say, just do it online? So both is in a very good meeting possible. Then in this mentoring programs, there are also in between actions. So not just, let's say, for all the mentees or for everyone. So with, let's say, conflict management, or let's say how to do a speech. So different, let's say, interdisciplinary workshops where you're, let's say, invited. You're not forced to participate. Also depending on, do you have time, and what is, let's say, your interest in that. And then after, let's say, 1 year, you also have, let's say, a final meeting. Have you achieved it? Often, I must say, this is the official program, but normally you stay in touch with your mentor. So it's not that it's ended. And also it's, let's say, you have a mentee and a mentor, but it's for both sides in a good way. So normally also the mentors are learning and getting as much as the mentee, because you also learn a lot in that part. So also that is but normally it's structured for 1 year so that you also have an end, or a start and an end date and a real objective for that. Check on this. There's the website link, and then you can apply. Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions from the audience?
Oh, can I ask
Sure.
Letitia? Letitia, I wanted to see if I could pass the mic to you about the question of what you see as what would really make a difference from the experience you have with AFWASA's 17
Make a difference in the sense of
women getting into the leadership roles. What do you
yeah,
see in those committees?
yeah. I think the policy is good, especially for. Someone was telling me, do you know you have a tall order trying to convince the utilities in doing this if you don't bring on board the country chapters? Because, for example, the utilities, the DGs or the MDs are normally politically. Because I was complaining when I came, I did the research, and we had, out of a board of 17 members, no one was a woman. And I was a bit upset. That's how can we have a all-male board? It even calls for no diversity, and men will think one way, as we know. We need the cross-culture, cross-fertilization of ideas. And then, so we tried as AFWASA to see how can we bring women on board. Unfortunately, at that time, our bylaw said you can only be on the board if you are a managing director of a utility. So if we do not have, automatically there won't be. So what one person proposes, we have to go higher. So what we are doing now is working with AMCAO, with the African ministers. So we are looking at, they also have the gender strategy. So we are hinging on that and saying they should push it at the policy level to see how they go far. And then for us, first of all, we need, we have the women leaders, but sometimes the culture also contributes to they not willing to really push themselves out there. I did a survey, we did a training needs assessment, we asked them, how many of you have ever been applied for a position, for promotion or position? They said only about, I think, 40%. And the 60 said, first, they don't think they can combine that with their chores as women because they have to blend work-life balance. So some mentorship from her end, as she say, is what will encourage women to know you are capable of doing it. Seeing other women who have also progressed, how did you manage that? So that it will encourage them, because a lot of them told me, apart from what we did, we had an interaction. They said, I see the advert and already I call myself off because some of the requirements, I think I can't meet it. And I told them, look, even men, when they can meet 5 out of the 10, they will still apply. But we women will look at 8 out of the 10 and we say just the two that we think will be a burden, so we will not even apply. So we have that challenge. That's why we are forming this professional network to encourage women. You are capable of doing it. Others have done it. How did they do it? We share ideas and then we know we can move on. Because as you are saying, the quota can be there, but if the woman is not ready to take it up, you cannot push them. So how do we encourage them to know that you are capable, you have, but of course the policies should be there to also protect them because, for example, in some organizations when you get pregnant, it's almost like your work, you have degraded yourself one step. Your colleague who entered with you is likely to jump higher because you're out of the office for a while. So policies are needed for that to ensure that women are not penalized because they went on maternity leave. So I think it's a blend of policy and also working on our own as women, taking up the challenge and knowing that we can do it. Is that
Thank you.
answer?
I have a question to Yolanda also. because you were mentioning that those are ordinary people in your sanitation WOP.
In the community.
Yes. How did you choose them? Did they apply? Because, so I've been in the water sector for quite some time, and I don't see women volunteer in the water sector to begin with, but definitely not in the sanitation sector.
No, maybe I want to make it clear. When we had our partnership, the self-help group was already organized by the Indian government. And I think it started like a cooperative, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then at certain point in time, they decided to make really use of the women, because they're not really working, they're not employed. So it's not about application, I think. Maybe it's more of the women volunteering to be working in that one, because at the end of the day, they were also given a pay. They underwent some training and I just like to emphasize that the fecal sludge treatment plant that they are managing is really simple. Don't think about high tech. It's really simple. So what they do is, as far as I understand, is that there are like 7 of them, and at least one of them has a college degree, because she will be the one who will be leading the work related to the laboratory. But over them also, because they are related to the local government unit, there's an engineer that oversees their work. So they go to they don't really spend much time. It's more of a rotation among them.
Okay.
But one of the major activity that they really do is to take records of all the incoming sludge that are collected and then brought into the treatment plant. And the other one is for them to carry out the daily collection of samples from the different parts of the treatment plant, brought to they have a small laboratory, very simple laboratory. And then they do the testing. And from my understanding is that at the very start, the husband of these women, because most of them are married, they don't like the wife working in the wastewater treatment plant. You know, something, they think that it's a dirty job and women should not be working there. But over time, they saw that it's not really that difficult for the women. And if you have seen the pilot where we have these women, you don't really imagine it as a treatment plant, except that you see some structures because they have their gardens in there. So it's really unique. Huh?
Yes, thank you very much. Yes.
I have one question to you, Danielle. You have involved a lot the community to provide the services of the utility, but and so you have been really mobilizing a lot of solidarity with your product and your activity, your professional activity. How would you say has this affected in strengthening you also individually and your structure, that you have gained so much attention or visibility by the community?
Well, the attention from the community has been great, and what I like to say in these cases, it's an exchange. I learn a lot from the community, and I try to explain all I can how the wastewater treatment plant works or how the water sector is working, and and the community it's reached further than Esquel and Trevelin, which are the 2 municipalities that we manage the operate water service. Even we reach cities that are 700 kilometers away, that they come to our event and they bring with them their reality, so we learn from their progresses, their mistakes, and we try to provide a solution also. So it's been a great chance to do a lot of networking, basically, and have a lot of ties with a lot of different actors in different sectors that provided me with a lot of knowledge that then I can share with everybody.
I would actually like to extend this similar question what Marie-Louise was just asking also to Pinky, because it's both you're working in water utilities, and how do you I mean, do you train your staff also for the outreach with the communities, or how do you approach it?
Thank you. We have a very close working relationship with our communities, and remember that our core as the municipality is to serve the communities through service delivery. So just to give one example on one of the research and innovation projects that are in the pipeline as part of a stakeholder engagement. Before we even start with the projects, we have to reach out to the community and engage and discuss with them. This non-sewer sanitation is one of them. It's new technologies that we all learning, we all exploring, through a piloting in selected communities. So we have to engage with them, but over and above engaging with them, we have to train them on how to behave around these new technologies. For instance, when it comes to on flashable toilets that we introducing, they cannot just throw foreign, objects. They can't use a certain type of detergents to clean. So we have to constantly engage with them, and not just the once off, but from time to time until they take ownership of these technologies and safeguard them and make sure that nobody comes near them in terms of vandalizing or stealing anything that may be, stealable. So we engage very closely, and we have ward councillors that are responsible for those communities in certain wards, call them wards, areas in which they assist us with further engagement and negotiating with them, whatever. And lastly, we provide them with opportunities, employment opportunities, when we introduce these projects. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If there are no more questions, then I would ask you to use this one card, and please write down that one idea or activity or action that you've heard today. We are analog. We don't do it digitally. We're old-fashioned here. I think it's just, you can just write one activity, one idea that you think it's worth implementing in your utility or organization. And you can leave the card. I will collect them, and then I also will put them in the report then for WOPA. With that, I think, please join me in thanking our panel one more time and applauding them. Thank you very much for the input you've given. I think it's very important. We may be small in numbers, but that doesn't mean the topic is not important. It's not about quantity, but it's about quality. And I think we had a high quality panel here, and we had high quality input. And I think we all learned a lot today. Thank you very much. Thank you.